Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Chatting with Asta. This is my lockdown talk show of sorts. I'll probably keep doing this after lockdown's over. It's pretty fun. Every week, I tune in with you to talk with some interesting guests from different walks of life. This week, I'm lucky to have Vanessa Walsh. I actually went to school with her, and she is this awesome actress. You may have seen her on The Flash, Van Helsing. If you're a Lifetime junkie like me, you've seen her in Best Friends Betrayal, Death of a Showgirl, and The Happy Face Killer. And yeah, I'm just like really excited to talk to her today. So let's get to it. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my God.
This is
crazy. I know. It's been 10 years since we've done this. This is as close to face as we've gotten in 10 years. This is now the new normal. This is the new face-to-face.
Yeah, it's really wild. I mean, I feel like just outside of this show, the current circumstances have led a lot of people to reconnect and to like find like things that they didn't have time for before when they were hustling or stressing, and now it's, so I'm glad that you could come and we could just like talk, because you've been so busy since I've last seen you. I don't know why I'm yelling.
No, yell at me. I love a good yell. Yeah, it's definitely been a lot has happened in 10 years, as for you as well. And to me, it feels like this kind of like ups and downs, and to you, it probably looks like, gosh, she's doing so much. We are. I say we because Nelson, my partner, and I, we have our business, we have our self-tape studio, and we're both actors, and we both write and produce stuff. And God, I mean, and we've had a thousand other jobs in between. So it's been busy. Yes, currently I'm very exhausted because pilot season. It feels like a pilot season right now. It is a new pilot season. No, just in this particular last 2 weeks, the breakdowns for Vancouver have been out of control, and like there's like 45 productions that are like casting right now. And so we as a self-tape studio are just like, where are we? Yeah. So I'm tired, but it's good.
Yeah, it's the good tired. It's the like you've earned it because you've put in the kind of work that you want. And you and I have that in common. We both are very fortunate to have these amazing partners in our life. And you run First Glance Studios with Nelson, and you've also done a few different projects with him, but notably CHIRAL. Is that how you say it?
Oh, good job.
With Karen Lamb directed that, correct?
Yeah, and you know Karen Lamb somehow?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we're Facebook friends. I'm mostly a fan of her knitting right now. I'm just like, it's such a like, I just love when people are in the film world, but then they have like these particular skill sets that just make them who they are specifically. Like you are all over the place. You are also in the stylist world. You're also a singer. You worked at a shoe company for many years, and you were a fisherman before we met. Like, these are all the things that Vanessa is, by the way. Like, it's crazy. Before you and I met, which was at the Guthrie theater program, you were an offshore fisherman. How do you connect being all these different things? Like, you're just, I don't know.
Asta, I don't know. You need to tell me that, because I don't know. The only thing that it is overwhelming, I think, to some people when I get going on my like who I am and what I've done. It's just naturally in me to basically say yes to anything and to try anything almost. I mean, I'm getting a little bit, fear sets in as you get older about things. I have to sort of consciously be like, no, Vanessa, you should go and you should reach out to that person, and you should go do that. Like when I was younger, before college, I just was sort of fearless. So going on a fishing boat was like, yeah, I'm doing that. And then I was on there and I was like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing out here? But but what the cool thing is, I'll tell you, the through road to everything, fishing and the water and like just sea life in general is sort of like a full circle thing that's just happened for me recently. So when I was on the water and I was like 19 and I was commercial fishing for tuna, I had a lot of experiences with whales, and I was way out there, like no land in sight. Takes 2 days to get back to any shore. And yeah, I had like great whales pass under our boat, and like all kinds of amazing like sunfish, and actually like a US, you know, those giant army carriers that like land aircrafts past us. Like that's not a fish, but you know, it's just like what you're seeing out there is just sort of like not normal life for most people. So anyway, flash forward 10 years, or no, more than 10 years, like 15, 16 years. We were just with our friends up on an island, very, very remote. And we saw, one morning I woke up and I could just feel that I was going to see some whales. And it's like a whale area, so it's not totally unlikely. But what was the greatest thing was I saw a whale breach, like fully jump out of the water 3 times in a row. And I have to say, it's one of the most like literal awesome sights I've ever seen. And I was talking to my therapist, I'll wrap this up. And she said, honey, that's a full circle moment, because when I was on that fishing boat, it's when I decided to audition for that school that we went to. Yeah. And now here I am. I'm an actor. I do multi-diverse, you know, I do lots of stuff, but I'm an actor, and I've been on a career path, and I saw this whale again. And I just feel like the whales and acting are connected. Yes. And, you know, it's just felt like a real full circle moment to see those whales jump that way.
Oh yeah. I actually so every morning, especially since the lockdown, my husband and I have a very specific routine. We work out, and then we take a shower, and then we make smoothie bowls, and we watch the news. And lately we've been trying our best to look for good news so that we're not like depressed every day. So we saw this video this past week of a young girl with her dad, and like a humpback whale jumped behind them in the video. And it was just like she was just so dumbfounded, because like to actually see that was just chilling. And you have a lot of these like moments with nature. And like part of the reason I chose this background today was I was so struck by, you started this body love account, and I'll link everything to do with be in the description. But it's I thought it was so powerful, and it struck me immediately how you're talking about body in terms of not like body positivity, body negativity, but it's like this semi-neutral zone of just understanding yourself. And like, whoa. What drove you to just decide like, I'm gonna just talk about this, like, and share it with people?
Well, it's been a long journey with my body, as I imagine you can speak to that. Yeah. And I've been wanting to talk about body dysmorphia, and you know, it's in our business, it's so prevalent, you know, and in modeling and all the kind of visual mediums, and not even that, but Instagram, and we have social media, and we have this, everybody is like pushing out these images of themselves, or for branding, or for whatever, and it's overwhelming. And you know, I've had to take many breaks over the years with Facebook and Instagram and everything, because it's just, you know, I wasn't able to handle all that imagery coming at me, and I felt it was affecting me in a way that wasn't helpful to me. Yeah. And it would make me really self-conscious and sad. And I, you know, have had many breakdowns about my body, and it, you know, to many, it would look like, what's there to be upset about? But each person has their own personal journey with body. And so we can't judge that. So I basically was like, I'm ready to talk about this journey, and I want to be encouraging of people, and just come from a really compassionate place, basically. But yeah, I had a lot of connection with nature, and nature is basically this it's incredibly healing. And I think anybody can attest to that, and so I try to be as close to it as possible whenever, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I live in Vancouver. I'm very blessed. I have mountains and water and all this around me. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. I mean, I have been mostly in this little apartment in Brooklyn where I can get on the roof, and like kind of survey the land, but it's not greenery. So I kind of we have, I think, 2 or 3 like mountain murals like in our apartment.
Good.
Like plants, and my mom is an artist, and so I've commissioned her to paint like just imaginary plants and things like mushrooms, and just so that I feel like I'm in the cemetery. But you have to create that because otherwise you're associating your life with like concrete and just
like man-made stuff.
Yeah, and you and we had that experience in going to the Guthrie program. A lot of the buildings for the main like theater arts were made during, I can't remember the specific term, but like the architecture was like an ugly, it was like purposefully ugly architecture to force
block, robotic,
like block the rare, like,
rare rig. It's called the rare rig. Like what?
Yeah. Like all this stuff, and it was harsh because we had these 8 to 9 month winters. My alcohol tolerance was really high when we were there. I was like drinking so much. Oh my God. And then we had a nice time, in London, like just kind of like eating all the good food, living all the culture.
Yeah.
Stuff. I mean, it's important to, and you're also like, you say like, what would there be to worry about? Like, I think that the people I've noticed that have the most extreme body dysmorphia are the people you think have it all together, because
they hide it,
or they're perfectionists. And I mean, when I think of you and like just knowing you over the past 10 years, more than 10 years at this point, I guess, but
14 years, honey.
Yeah.
2006.
Oh my God. It's this idea that I've been very purposefully not looking just at my own journey, but like paying attention to people in my life and seeing their journey. And I think thematically, like you have this like chameleon toughness. Like I don't associate you with any one hair color or hairstyle or outfit choice. I associate you with being able to like play the kind of character that you did in Happy Face Killer, but then you're also like, I was legitimately like in love with your character in Best Friends Betrayal, by the way. So, because I don't want to give it away for people, but I like did not see it coming. And I always see it coming. I was just like, I love Vanessa. This is great. She's such a good friend. Like, and you've like really, your journey has been so interesting to watch because you've really like, come into your own with your attitudinal, like, roll and, roll with the punches kind of. I don't know.
You're rolling.
Talking with you is so funny because like, I just find like, we're like, I'm just.
You want to get moving.
Yeah.
You want to move.
There's this the Vinay energy is in the air.
Oh yeah, well I'm feeling it from you too, honey. There's electricity here because we have history, and it's very touching to me. I could just start sobbing right now because it's just going to acting school for 4 years with you and with everyone. It's like there's that thread, whether through all of us, and we have that experience together, and it's very oh, I love that. What is going on with that? You just bring up a shoe? Like, what is happening? Oh my God. Yeah. Is that beer or kombucha?
Neither.
What is it?
It's ginger ale with this cherry chipotle mocktail mixer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your drink?
Today it is. Yeah.
Okay. You're the mixologist at the house?
My husband is.
Oh, okay, good.
But
Okay.
no, this was actually a mixer from a brand called Trade Street Jam, and they made limited edition. So I'm almost like ashamed to like tell people I have this because like you can't buy it. It's gone.
You guys cannot buy what Asta is drinking out of. So just get it.
But
Okay?
it's delicious. But anyway, sorry, this boot interrupted. But I just like
no. I like when a boot interrupts. Boots are constantly interrupting me. I got to tell you. That's my new slogan.
oh my God.
It works. It works. Yeah. I forget what I was saying. What was I saying about? Was it talking about the
acting school is a really intense and like our particular class was so messed up. Like
yeah.
I know that they all agree with me, so it's not like I'm offending anyone.
It's a challenge. It was a challenging group. We were strong, bullheaded people.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
So
love you all.
We were nicknamed the Rainbow Coalition because we.
Right. Yeah.
It was early on. I don't know who started it, but it was like, because there's one of each. You know, we have like a representation of the entire diversity rainbow. And I know that I was one of the people, actually, almost all of our class was in the diversity scholarship. And it was so weird because we would have to, yeah, so I had to go and it was, I remember we all went to one meeting because Ken told us to. And they were like, what does diversity mean to you? And we all looked around the room going like, shouldn't the white members of our company be talking about this? Like,
yeah.
We need to get out of here. But yeah. It was, we had like team building workshops made for our class. We were constantly confronting each other, but I think it made us all, for better or worse, like really, really strong. Like really,
everybody in our class is a super strong actor. I mean, that program brought in a lot of great talent, but yeah, everybody just had a lot of power and a lot of energy. Yeah. There were a lot of Leos and a lot of Tigers. So, and I was like, I'm into that. So I'm an Aquarius ox. And, so yeah, there was a lot of energy and a lot of fierceness and a lot of like intensity. And I think that has to do with it. There's astrological signs that everyone shared. A lot of energy.
I'm a fire rabbit Scorpio. Mm-hmm. And I'm an Aquarius ascending. So
very good.
So this explains a lot about this.
Yeah, the hair color. We're sharing some hair color.
Yeah. A friend of mine who's really into this stuff, she was like, so you're in the Aquarius phase of your life, I see. And I was like, that explains my hair. It totally does. This is why I've been leaning into this the past few years. Yeah,
I've loved the transition of your hair going lighter and lighter and lighter, and you've been doing it very well. So it looks gorgeous.
It was not intentional. It was actually a really funny experience, but it's
really.
Yeah, I was actually getting ready to audition. The day I was getting my hair just like lightly balayaged, I was getting ready to audition for a very stereotypical Latin role in a feature film. And I panicked because I had the foils in and I didn't know what they wanted from me. And then I just started getting roles offered to me and like to audition that were not qualified by my ethnicity. And suddenly these doors open that never opened for me before, like in a real way. And my hairstylist was like, kept pushing me. She was like, let me do this. And I was like,
yeah, well, your skin tone really suits the light hair. It works really beautifully. And I actually have a question about that for you. So like in New York and in the US, like have you, at the beginning of your time in New York and auditioning for film and TV, were you just being pushed for Latin roles? And is it opened up for you now?
It's weird because I didn't initially come here to do film and TV.
Okay.
I came here to do theater.
Yeah.
I don't know what your talk was like after graduation, but like, so they talked with us, like we have our evaluations, which,
I remember.
you know, it's like whatever. And they pretty much were like, you should go to LA, like, you know, pursue the film stuff if you want, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I feel like that'll suit you. And Ken Washington and I were like, you know, I've always wanted to go to New York. Like,
yeah,
I don't even want to necessarily be on Broadway, but that was my dream, was just to be a New Yorker and to let it complicate my life for better or worse. And so I just came here to do theater, and then I got into improv, and then was asked to be in comedy, and it just kind of snowballed. And then I just started doing film. But when I started answering your question, I started auditioning for stuff, and I had representation. My first manager, I was being sent out for a lot of stereotypical, like, degrading stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny. You know, you've been posting about this. I feel like you can talk to it in a way, like,
yeah,
this conversation around like Chadwick Boseman, like, really hit me, because it's tough when you're in a position that you don't even realize you're in, where you have to have integrity in your career as an actor. And I really admire what he has done for the Black community and Black men. And I saw Black Panther in theaters and was just like a mess after, because I'm not even Black, but it just meant a lot for me to see power on screen that wasn't the white neutral.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And I have been made to feel so little, so much of my career. Even when we were in our program, like, our teachers were trying to nudge me to consider very Latin playwrights and things like that. And I grew up mostly in America, and I grew up mostly as a first-gen American, you know.
The melting pot that is America.
Yeah, and I always wanted to be Rita Hayworth, and I always wanted to be like, you know, J-Lo, but like where I did my own thing. So being asked to play like a crackhead or a maid as a side character to a neutral white lead, just kind of, I just couldn't, even if it's a credit, so it feels good that there is a shift coming, but it's not really for me. Like, there are people that are in the Latin and like person of color community that I think are just taking it upon themselves to make the material that they want, you know?
Yes.
So, and I think that you do that too. Like, one of the projects that I followed you early on was like just using that. I can't remember the name of it, but you were like campaigning for, it was like this fifth wave. It was like a coffee, like, thing.
Yes,
and you were like making projects happen. And I don't know if you realized it or not, but you definitely contributed to my idea of like, let me just try and make something. My husband and I like are always creative with each other. Like, let's just keep making our own destinies, because
that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. You can't wait for somebody. That's the big realization. And that's what, you know, I don't really remember that being said in college, but maybe like a professional at the Guthrie might have said that. I don't even know. But one of the things that, like, you know, Nelson and I are constantly telling young people, but also people that are new to the industry, whatever age they are, is like, get to know people, like, make contacts. If you're not a writer, you know, become a producer, or at least get into some bubble of people that are making stuff, you know, because we can't sit around. And so many of us, you know, the industry has changed so much in the time that we've been involved in film and television. We've got Instagram, we've got everything that's happened with social media, and we've got, you know, channel like Vimeo, and we've got YouTube, and we've got all these things. Like, there's no reason for any of us not to be making stuff, you know. And it's like, I think that it can feel, for me, it can feel overwhelming to like make something. And that's why, you know, with the body thing, I was just like, one morning I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this page. Like, I want to talk about this. And, you know, it really is, you know, the most exciting page for me to have right now, because it's like the most pertinent, it's the juiciest, it's the stuff that I really want to talk about. So, But in terms of like filmmaking, like, you know, you're in pre-production. We're also in pre-production for a short that Nelson wrote that he completed over COVID. And now we're very excited about it, and it's going to happen probably in a month and a half. So, you know, you just have to take one step at a time. And like, you know, I love like following your instincts, you know, like because there's always that voice after the initial idea comes. There's always the voice that follows that's like, is that really what you should do right now? Are you sure about this? Yeah, that's kind of a stupid idea. And it's like, no, forget that voice. The voice that was first is the one that needs to be listened to, you know?
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I think that you just have to follow whatever your purpose is. And I think that what's great about what your body page is doing for you is something that I have learned, which is important. Don't make like your performance career feed every part of you. Like,
yes,
find other things to, because I remember when I was being recruited for like college for programs, I was recruited by this like really sassy guy over a period of like 2 years when I was in high school from New York Film Academy. And one of the things he said to me was, if you want to do anything else, don't bother being an actor. And that like really messed with me for a while. And I thought, do I not want this? Because like me and Denise and I like both were trying to double major, you know, like we were like, let us be passionate about other things. And
yes.
It's important because sometimes those can inspire the best parts of your work. Like I'm working on a role right now where, yeah, some of the training that we did has been vital in general for my, like, you know, method. But now I have all these great life experiences that I'm like, oh, this is easy. Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. Don't you think this line should be like this? It's and it's because I didn't just surround myself with career.
Yeah. I think that's also, that's like the other super important thing. You know, it's like, I think I even remember somebody saying that in college, like I remember being in a circle and maybe it was like an actor, I don't know, saying like, if you have a plan B, you should follow that plan B. And to a degree, I understand what they're saying, because in the beginning, it's like you do have to kind of go full throttle and you do have to put a lot of energy in. You got to get headshots. You got to find an agent. Yeah. But after all that's done, it's like, yeah, we can't, like going back to, can't sit around and wait for people to hire you. You know, you do, the most important thing is to, you know, find the things that fill you up and find joy with, whether it's going for a hike or whether it's painting or whether it's dancing or whether it's whatever the fuck it is, you know? And like, that's like been the big learning lesson for me over these 10 years and what I've discovered among many other things. Yeah. But, baking and bread and all this shit. Making my house crazy cool, you know. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, it's not everything. And yet everything in your life will feed what you just said, will feed your acting. Yeah. All of your life will feed that.
Yeah. Like I have a lot of actress friends that are mothers, and they're like, do you understand how easy it is for me to book now? Because I go in there and I don't care. I know I have to go take care of my kid. So I'm just in there and I'm like, do I have the role? Like, and they give it to me because I have exactly what that character needs. It's like an energy. It's an energy. And I feel like you probably, like many actors, have gone through this where your professors, your mentors, your acting coaches, your agents, your co-stars are pushing on you what they think you should do. They tell you, this is the type, lean into this, take this kind of photo. And sometimes that helps, but I feel for the most part, like you miss out on becoming that. You're projecting it more than you're letting it.
Yeah, you're trying all these different hats on and you think, you know, and that's part of growing up and part of becoming, you know, it's, you try all these things on and you see what works. Like, you know, when they were like, for headshots, it's like, you got to have a sass, you got to have your commercial photo, and you got to have your leather jacket, edgy woman photo, and you got to have your girl next door photo with like a striped shirt on. And it's like, oh, no, I will have one photo. No. But it's just like, no, now going into auditions, going into headshot sessions, it's like, what is you?
Yeah. Whatever.
What's you?
Yeah.
What's you?
I mean, it's just like, it is a wild ride, finding who you are in the middle of trying to desperately project that you are whatever that person needs for that casting. But it's a journey. And on that note, I want to ask you something I ask all my guests, which is, what's your message to the universe this week? Like, what vibe do you want to send out, or what do you feel?
My big message is go with what's working. So put your energy into the things that are working for you, and forget the rest, because it's coming for you.
Yes. Yeah. It's like your full circle moment, where you just be in awe of something, and then it all comes together. Just 100%.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on my show, Vanessa. It's been so lovely and bubbly and crazy.
Yeah, it's been so great just to look at you for an hour, just gaze into your little eyes.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining me on another episode of Chatting with Asta. If you're enjoying this show, especially this episode, don't forget to thumbs up, meaning you liked it, comment, subscribe, and of course, sharing is caring. And the message this week from the lovely Vanessa is to just go with what's working. Put your energy into the things that, fuel you and excite you, and you never know where it's going to lead. All right. See you next week.